Let's say China.
China.
China. China.
There are next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
You go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump statement, tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time it is. It is I, James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened. Quite literally the only news that you need to hear today. It is Wednesday, the 19th of April, 2017. It's been an awesome week so far, and it's just going to keep on getting better. We're going to start off today with my new favourite punching bag, Eric Trump, in another desperate play to win his father's love. Eric said this.
In the world, you pray for peace. You pray for peace. At the same time, my father has tremendous backbone, and the safety of this country comes first. And quite frankly, the safety of our allies come first. So you pray for peace, but he will show real leadership. And that's something that hasn't occurred in the past, and it will start occurring. And you saw that, quite frankly, in Syria, and you saw that in Afghanistan. And he will take action if he needs to take action. But again, you pray for peace. You don't want there to be death and destruction and turmoil around the world. But again, you have to have massive backbone when it comes to dealing with awful dictators who don't like us, don't like our way of life, don't like us as a civilization, and he will protect America. Make no mistake about it. He will protect our country.
Sit down, you antelope slaughtering buffoon. Nobody cares about anything you say. And Eric, it didn't work. Daddy still doesn't love you the most. Maybe you could pray for love. It's really bad, and if there are any Eric Trump fans out there, fuck off first. But secondly, I do apologise because sometimes you see someone and you just automatically get angry. That's what he does for me. Ever since someone showed me a picture of him and Beavis from Beavis and Butthead next to each other, the similarities are staggering, and he is my new favourite punching bag. And until I get off this trip, I'm probably going to make fun of him every single day. And I'll tell you the reason why. He's a big game hunter. And anybody that is a big game hunter that will pay $40,000, $50,000 for the privilege to hunt and kill an elephant or a leopard or antelope, you either have the world's tiniest penis or you have the world's tiniest penis and you're a psychopath. So, Eric, which is it? Do you have the world's tiniest penis, or do you have the world's tiniest penis and you're a psychopath? And I could literally talk about this for the rest of the episode, but I'm not going to because that's my own personal vendetta, and I appreciate you letting me get it out. We are going to talk about Sean Spicer. Now, I know I said a few episodes ago that I wasn't going to pick on Sean Spicer. Well, I've changed my mind. That is my prerogative. I'm the host. I can change my mind if I want to. And I've changed my mind. The White House, the entire US government actually lost a warship recently. It was one of those headlines where you sort of looked and went, ooh, US loses warship. What is that? Well, what it turns out is that Trump said, oh, the warship is here heading towards Korea. It's in Korea. We're going to back you up if you need anything. And then it turns out that the warship, which was the USS Carl Vinson, in fact was nowhere near Korea at all. Anyway, today in the press briefing, Sean Spicer tried to answer but ended up deflecting every single question that was asked on it. And it's worth a listen. It's purely for the comedy value. And if you can go to YouTube and look at it, it's great because his face is it's priceless. Here's Sean deflecting answers.
Can you take us through the events that led people within this administration to believe the vessel was thousands of miles away from its actual location?
Well, I mean, PACOM put out a release talking about the group ultimately ending up in the Korean Peninsula. That's what it will do. I think we were asked very clearly about the use of a carrier group in terms of deterrence and foreign presence and what that meant. I think that's what we discussed. I would refer you back to any other issues with that to the Department of Defense.
Does the President believe that he might have spoken too quickly on this location of the vessel before it was
The
actually
President said that
arriving?
we have an armada going towards the peninsula. That's a fact. It happened. It is happening, rather. Yeah.
John, I just want to follow up on that. You know, obviously when the President of the United States says there's military hardware going to a region in the middle of a crisis on the Korean Peninsula, the allies of the United States are encouraged. When that happens to not be the case, they can interpret that as a false encouragement. So how is this White House explaining to South Korea and Japan that in fact during the build-up and the actual DPRK missile launch, there was no USS Carl Vinson?
No,
off
but,
the
well,
coast of
respectfully,
Korean
Jessica, I would
Peninsula?
ask you to either touch base with PACOM or the Department of Defense. The statement that was put out was that the Carl Vinson Group was headed to the Korean Peninsula. It is headed to the Korean Peninsula. It'll arrive there. What's that?
It's headed there now. It wasn't headed there
Sure,
last
no,
week.
but that's not what we ever said. We said that it was heading there, and it was heading there. It is heading there. So that remains.
An impression that allies had.
But if there's an impression, then that's not. Then there should have been clarification from people who were seeking it. But I mean, PACOM put out a release talking about what its ultimate destination was going to be, and that's where it ended up. Caitlin.
Well, why did the administration never clarify? Because it definitely, the intent and media reports was that it was headed there now, and now it's going to be there
But that
2 weeks
wasn't,
later.
with all due respect, that's not my. We were asked a question. I know, no, that's not true. What I was asked was what signal did it send that it was going there, and I answered that question correctly at the time. That it signaled foreign presence, strength, and a reassurance.
Look, Sean, it's okay, mate. We've all done it. I've done it plenty of times with Mrs. Andrews. She will call me and say, "Hey, are you on the way to pick me up?" And I say, "Yep, right round the corner," as I am still in my room putting on my trousers. I'm eventually heading there. Just hold tight. Easy mistake to make. And now we're going to look at a policy so antiquated and outdated that it could only be proposed by a man who basically is that. Jeff Sessions wants to start the war on drugs again. Have we learnt nothing, people? Have we learnt nothing? It was nearly half a century ago when Richard Nixon said this.
Which I think needs to be made to the nation. America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
And shortly thereafter, arrests soared, ridiculously long sentences were imposed on rather minor offences, and it just got bad. People were arrested in droves, particularly, it has to be said, black males. And then, as George W. Bush came to power, the violent crimes started to drop, and the prosecutions on these drug offences started to ease. When Barack Obama took over, he in fact called the war on drugs completely unproductive, in that it just didn't work. Well, now we have a new guy, Jeff Sessions. And don't even get me started on Jeff Sessions, because he could become a punching bag just as easy as Eric Trump, and I'm sure he will very, very soon. But he has said, and this is staggering to me, I can't believe it. You know, he loves to reminisce about the good old days of the 80s and the 90s, and he recently labelled cannabis, pot, marijuana, weed, whatever you want to call it, only slightly less awful than heroin. And he went on to say, "We will enforce our laws and put bad men behind bars." And Jeff, mate, if you've ever met like a stoner, they are the most mellow fucking people you will meet. They're just not bad people. I mean, you know, they might empty your cupboards or your fridge, but they're not bad people, man. You know, we've learnt nothing. Apparently we have learnt nothing. So that's awesome. And speaking of awesome, you can probably hear Trump Vader has arrived. Mate, you are looking great today. He's looking very triumphant, which means he probably has a tweet he's really proud of. He's nodding away like crazy. All right, Trump Vader, get on the mic, give us your tweet.
Despite major outside money, fake media support, and 11 Republican candidates, Big R win with runoff in Georgia. Glad to be of help.
All right. Well, Trump Vader, obviously you are referring to the District 6 election that took place in Georgia yesterday with the new Democratic star, John Ossoff, correct? Yeah. Okay, you are. And you said it was a big win, right? Yeah. He's going crazy here. I mean, the head is bobbing. It's like one of those little, things in the car. The head's bobbing up and down. I'm not making fun of you. No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying you're very excited by this. Because I'm interested, though, Trump Vader. I'm confused because you're saying that's a massive win, right? So a big win. This was a district that is predominantly Republican, and you should have absolutely crushed any Democratic candidate that would come along. But this young gentleman seemed to get 48% of the vote, and that's a big win. Forcing a runoff for June. That is a big win. Well, okay, if that's a big win, that's a big win. Anyway, listen, we know he loves... You've got to give him his round of applause. He loves it. He goes crazy for it. So everyone, give Trump Vader a round of applause. Wow, if you could see him right now, he is going mad for it. That was beautiful. Thank you. Anyway, see you tomorrow, Trump Vader. He's gone. He's very fast. Out he goes. Incredible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, some of the best news we have had this month. Bill O'Reilly has been fired by Fox News. Yeah, you know what? Bring that round of applause back. Yes, Bill O'Reilly. See you later. Yeah, just keep it going. Yeah. I know. We could just keep it going. All right. Well, Bill O'Reilly, this is your life. Bill William James. Born 1949, became a broadcaster in the 70s, the 80s, and he's been a regular on Fox News. Now he has his own program, The O'Reilly Factor, which is, a joy to watch. Very popular. Been accused of a lot of bad things, sexual harassment, bigotry, etc., etc. And we're just gonna look at some of Bill's finest moments.
Paula Evans, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Bill, if you are so concerned about public figures being bad role models for children, please stop rudely interrupting your guests and telling them to shut up. Well, the shut up line has happened only once in 6 years, Ms. Evans.
Well, I think that asking a student to stay in the closet in order to go to school is a lot like asking an African-American student.
Want to know what I was doing?
Shut up.
Please don't tell me to shut up.
As respect. Why did you have to tell him you were an atheist if you didn't have any trouble reading the oath? Why didn't you just shut up? What Jimmy Carter should do is privately give Mr. Bush his opinion and shut up publicly. That would be best for the country. And it is our duty as loyal Americans to shut up once the fighting begins. Once the war against Saddam begins, we expect every American to support our military, and if they can't do that, to shut up. All he's got in 6.5 years is that I misspoke, that I labeled a polka war to Peabody. He writes it in his book. He tries to make me out to be a liar.
No,
hey,
that's
shut up.
No,
you had your 35 minutes. Shut up.
Oh, God, we're going to miss him, aren't we? Yeah.
Give me one damn program he said he cut.
He has cut entitlements. He has cut
not entitlements. One program.
What do you want to yell at?
Because you're lying.
I'm not lying.
You are lying.
Don't call me a liar. Don't you sit there and call me a liar.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
Hey, here's the proof.
You don't like the president. You don't like what he's doing. But don't sit there and call me a liar.
I am. Give me one program.
We can have a disagreement without you calling me a liar. That's not necessary.
You're lying.
That's not necessary.
You are lying.
I'm not lying. We have a disagreement.
Proof.
There's a difference between having a disagreement.
And with Jeff Sessions' new war on drugs, here's Bill making himself sound like a twat.
Impact segment tonight, as you may know, the state of Colorado has legalized marijuana. Now, the largest newspaper there, the Denver Post, has actually hired an editor to promote pot. Think about this. The only reason you use weed outside of a medical situation is to intoxicate yourself. And of course, that can lead to bad things. DUI, the use of harder drugs. The new marijuana editor recently appeared on TV.
And we are going to miss you, you crazy old bastard. And that is the end of our show. You can always follow me on Twitter at SoThisHappen. Love to see you there, and I will chat with you tomorrow. And Bill, because you're not going to need this anymore, we're going to go out to the O'Reilly Factor music. Cheers.